How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt. That is Shawn, and welcome to our show. Shawn, in today's video, we're going to be talking about staged homes selling for 20% more. The real estate market, dare I say, is cooling off, and discounted rent if you can take care of a dog. How is your Thursday, June 3rd, treating you? It's probably treating you better than it's treating me.
Yeah, I bet you it is. How you feeling?
I am limping through this show after my second shot. I'm going to be okay. I'm a man. But I also want to recognize that these feelings and this pain and lethargic is no joke either.
No, it definitely hits you. It's like a slight flu, and it hits everybody differently. But yeah, it's a tough one to get through. So I appreciate your pushing through.
My hand is like an ice cube right now. Shawn just
and he's sweating.
Yeah. So let's start with the first article. This is from domino.com entitled "A Staged Home Can Sell for 20% More." Here's the one item to include in yours. Now, they go through a few items. I think the item is a statement rug. Now, whether or not that's the actual item to include is up for debate. But the article does say that a report came out last summer from Realtor.com stating that the average staged home sold 88% faster and for 20% more than a non-staged house. So, Shawn, the question is, why would a seller not stage their property?
Yeah, that's always the big question.
It's
20%
price,
more.
right? The only reason you wouldn't do it is because of an out-of-pocket expense.
That's right. And so... But it's also timing too, because sometimes staging can take a few weeks. So you have to be preemptive on this and, get these quotes in an early standpoint so you can get it staged in a timely manner. If you want to go on the market next week and you still want to stage it, that's a little tougher to do. But the key here is I always try to get the property staged because I've seen the outcome of a staged property. Your marketing looks better. It feels better to buyers when they come through. I'm not a fan of virtual staging. I think virtual staging is, sometimes it can make the pictures look okay, but they're still walking into an empty property. And the main thing for me is I want those buyers to feel warm, happy, love the place, love the furniture, and it really does, it works. And I tell my clients, I say, not only will it get you more, it'll probably get you more, right? I can't guarantee that, but it'll probably get you more. And it'll sell faster on the market. And that's a big thing. Time is money. If you're sitting on the market waiting for it to sell, here's a few $1,000s to spend on staging, but you're gone. You're done. You don't have any ongoing expenses. So yeah, number one thing is always the expense. And to give people an idea, a 1-bedroom condo might cost, depending on the staging you use and different things, but probably about $1,900 for the first month.
How about like a house? Like a house is going to be what, like $3,000, $4,000,
$3,500? Yeah, depending on the size of the house.
But if the house is $800,000, doesn't it make sense that it would sell for more than $3,500?
Yeah, and exactly. And the thing is, you can do light staging. You don't have to go full out stage every room. So look, the great thing about some of these stagers is that they will give you a quote and they'll show you the exact furniture that they're going to use. And then you can kind of go through there and say, hey, let's pull this out. Let's add this in. This cost is getting too high. Let's pull out this whole room. So there are options there. But I think the main thing to do is at least you're doing the main level of a house, right? You're doing the kitchen, the dining room, the family room, make it feel cozy. And then you want to do maybe at least the master bedroom and one other secondary bedroom. Basement, you might not have to do, But if you can afford to do it, you have the time to do it, I'm telling you, it's completely worth it in so many different ways.
My question is for the seller, what are you doing to help the buyer fall in love with the property? If you're anticipating a top market offer, if you want top dollar for your property, are you investing top markets updates, whether it's paint, whether it's staging? Are you investing that money into the property? Because if you're not investing that money, how can you expect to have top dollar for the property? So I'm thinking, what are the best houses in the area doing? The model homes, the new construction. Now, granted, we don't have unlimited pockets to do everything, but if we can pick and choose and say, okay, well, they, stage their bedroom and they stage their living room, something is better than nothing. And certainly having, a friendly and peaceful ambiance when a buyer walks in, and not a cold, empty room or a cold, virtually staged room, would certainly be beneficial for buyers.
That's exactly it. Empty rooms feel cold. They echo. They are cold, and yeah, sometimes they can look larger. And I've had instances where, I've sold a property where it was the person's furniture in there first, which was a little big. And then, then we try to sell it vacant and that didn't work. And then I get it staged that day. I get 2 offers. It works. I'm telling you, it's worth the expense. And, not every property is going to be staged. And we always try to do that. But we also have our own furniture, which we're actually going down to the storage unit right after this, because there's one that's not being staged. And so we're going to try to make it look as good as possible. We're going to put some light staging in there. I have a bed in there. I went and bought bedding, that kind of thing. So we go above and beyond to try to get that buyer to feel that comfort. So we do have those little things. They're not the greatest. They don't look as good as these professional stagers do, but at least it's something. We'll throw it in there. If it doesn't look good, we'll pull it out. At least we're trying.
Time is money. And, staging the property not only gets you more money in your pocket, but it also, helps the property sell quicker. So
That's right.
That is one of our main recommendations for any seller for any type of property.
And the thing, one more quick thing. You don't have to stage the whole thing. And for example, when I sold my house, I had some ugly furniture. I'm like, this is stuff that was just handed down or whatever, I had for years. So I took that stuff out and I emptied a lot of my rooms, a lot of the junk. And then I brought a stager in to stage certain rooms or just lightly stage certain things. And it made a huge difference. It looked way better than it did when I lived in it. And that's the key. You don't want your house to feel like you live in it, because we all live in properties and, half the time it's a mess, right? But when you go into a stage property, it looks immaculate. It's better than you're going to live in it, and it gives people that great feeling. So,
yeah, the article goes on to say to kick people out, of your house for now, basically, like pretend that you don't live there, and to fill up empty spaces. And Shawn certainly did at least one of those things with his house when he sold it. Cool. Let's move on to the second topic, which comes to us from CNBC. This article is entitled "Housing Boom May Be Cooling as Weekly Mortgage Demand Drops Again." Applications for mortgage to purchase a home fell 3% and were 2% lower than the same week a year ago. So applications fell. Now, there's a lot of different factors, and I feel like on CNBC, CNN, and any sort of website like this, every single week there's an article that comes out that says housing market is increasing, housing market is decreasing, housing market is this, that. This one, it looks like people are not applying for as many mortgages. So Shawn, what are you seeing in terms of the summer market? And, is the tight inventory really going to be the name of the game when it comes to the housing market?
Yeah. Typically the summer markets in our market, in the Northern Virginia, DC market, typically end of July, August are really slow. You think about everybody that's on vacation. They're not thinking about real estate at that time. They're trying to go on vacation, relax a little bit before the school year starts. So most of those people have tried to buy in the spring and got in before, mid-July. I think this is a pretty good indication, though. There's still a ton of buyers out there. There are still so many buyers that need to find houses. We talked about buyer fatigue before, and there's probably some that have dropped out. They might start re-entering the market. So just because there's a lower amount of mortgages doesn't mean there's people sitting on the sidelines that are maybe 90 days out from their mortgage application that just need a refresh or something like that. So I think the buyers are still there. I don't think the market's cooling. There's just still such low inventory, but it could be a sign for the future months, right? Maybe this fall will be slower, or maybe next spring will be slower. But definitely an indication. That's where everything starts, right? Everything starts at the mortgage level, and then it trickles down to us.
The National Association of Realtors reported that there was a 4.4% decrease in pending home sales in April. So this is the amount of homes that went under contract, which oftentimes goes on to show the future sales. So certainly low inventory is leading this. And it could be buyer fatigue. It could be people that are getting priced out of the market as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now. I have clients that are looking out further, and we've been looking for a while, and we started months ago, sold their house, and all of a sudden, we're not going to see any houses because it seems like everything now that was in their price point, which was a single family, everything that's coming up now is a townhouse. So the prices definitely have gone up and probably, priced some people out of the market. So they're not able to buy what they wanted to. And so psychologically you're thinking, all right, do I even want to move now? Do I just go rent and wait for something else to happen? Because they weren't looking for a townhouse. They were looking for a single family. So what do you do, right?
Yeah, I'm more concerned about inventory levels than mortgage applications nationwide. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and like they always say, the new construction starts were slower. So that's going to affect the whole market, right? And so that's really the indicator of what's going to happen. It's going to be tight inventory for a while, I think.
Cool. Let's move on to the third topic, which comes to us from Inman via Reddit. And if you know it's coming from Reddit, you know it's going to be a doozy. And the article is entitled, "Man Offers Discounted Rent for Dog Sitting, Draws Internet Outrage." Shawn, a Texas man, is asking someone to pay $2,600 to rent a house and to dog sit his 16-year-old black lab. Someone on Reddit found the post on Zillow. Apparently, the post was originally at $3,000 and has since been dropped to $2,650. One final item it notes in the listing: if it interests you to take care of my 16-year-old black lab during the lease term, we can discuss how rent would be adjusted. Wow, you got to pay $2,650. And guess what? Now you have an elderly dog.
Smelly, and not only elderly, those elderly ones get smelly.
Stinky boy.
Stinky boy. I would. This is correct. I've never heard of this. And man, take care of your dog, right? Like get your own responsibility. Get your dog out of there. If you're trying to rent the place out without the dang dog. There's plenty of people that'll take care of that dog lovingly. You could give it away. I mean, apparently the guy doesn't care about his dog, right?
He said the original plan is to board the dog, but it's also a plan to, include it in the rent.
I'm wondering where he's moving that he can't take the dog, I mean.
Someone on Reddit commented, "Hey, I'm renting out my house. Can you watch my wife and my pet goldfish? It's only $2,600, but my wife may charge extra. Also, utilities are not included."
Oh my God, that's funny. The thing is, the housing market, the sale market, the rental market is now following the sales market, and we're seeing some single-family homes get multiple contracts or multiple offers on rent. So the rents are going up. So there was a house in Arlington that Lindsay was just showing the other day, priced at $5,500 or $5,300 or something like that. It was going for about $6,000. People were bidding it up for the monthly rent of $6,000. So that's the crazy thing is this might rent now, because people need housing. So hey, I'll take the dog.
If you were in the Austin rental market, at what price is this a steal? Like if it was $2,000 and basically $1,000 under market value, and you're like, hey, I got to take in this dog, is that worth it to you or?
Not to me, but I mean, I'm sure there's people out there. But the thing is, like, is he an in-house dog? Is he stinky?
At what price is it worth it to Shawn Battle? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I guess if I didn't have a job and I was moving to Austin.
You're moving to Austin.
Yeah, I'm moving to Austin. I have no job. I need that thing as low as possible, man.
$500.
Yeah, I'll give him $500. $500, I'll take care of your dog. See if we can get that. Maybe we can do it as like a fun rental. We'll go out there and go to Austin.
I think I'd have to meet the dog first. Because it's essentially a roommate.
That's it.
Can the dog discriminate against you? Like the dog starts barking at you?
I'm sure he
will.
The
owner's like, I don't want you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's covered under fair housing laws.
Yeah. And is it inside dog or is it an outside dog? Texas is a little warmer, right? So maybe it's an outside.
Have you been to Austin?
I haven't. No.
Speaking of real estate markets, I mean, this is Austin real estate market to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, they can get away with this down there. Looks like you might have some goats too.
That does look. I mean, those look like goats.
Yeah, I think those are goats. I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, you know what you're getting into, man. Like you read the post.
Basically, you're taking care of his farm.
Yeah.
And you're paying him to do it. All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap up an expedited version of the show. I'm going to go just pummel some Tylenol and some Gatorade, and
Go to sleep.
I'm like
man.
sweating and cold, but also want to deliver my real estate news to my people. Shawn, you're still at
Yes.
498 subscribers.
498. It's been
What
498
do we
for
need
2
to
weeks.
do to get 500 subscribers?
I don't know.
It's going to be that thing where you get to 500, then someone immediately unsubscribes, and you're just sitting at 499.
That's the way it's been happening. It's been like 498, 497, 496, 498. So please subscribe, man. We do this every week. We try to bring you all the news that we can find and dig up. It's hard to find these stories, and but we love talking about them. So
one last thing, agents in Arlington love, and I'm not trying to like toot our own horn, agents love showing our listings because they know they're staged. There's
They're gonna look pretty.
directions. The lock opens up. They show well. They show nice.
Yeah.
Agents, I've had multiple agents be like, "Oh, it's Matt and Shawn's listing." Like, okay, I got it.
Yeah, because we're going to treat this listing like gold, like every single one that we do. We want it to show the best. We want the instructions to be right. We don't want people to have to call us to say, hey, where's the lockbox? We're going to give you exact instructions. And another thing that we do is we'll have one of us run over a lot of times, not every time, but turn on the lights beforehand. And I just did that to one of my listings. And guess what? I couldn't get into the lockbox. So it was a combo box, and somebody had jammed up the keys, and I have 3 showings today. And I'm like, if I hadn't done that, what would have happened? I would have lost 3 showings. So it's important for you to make sure that you're doing your job and make sure that that listing is accessible.
I like to imagine what the agent was doing to jam it in, just like how ferocious they were smacking it.
Hey, I've been there, man.
We've
when
all
we
been
have like
there.
90 keys and you're trying to get into a little lockbox, you're like, all right, so I took the 2 unnecessary things off of that and made it slimline.
I took a hammer one time and just started beating the lockbox because the agent that was showing it was like, hey, your lockbox isn't opening. And then she was like, oh, wait, I took the wrong lockbox. That one's not actually yours. So just hit some random agent's lockbox with a hammer.
I was punching mine today
casually
because
put this back.
trying to get it loose, trying to get that key loose because sometimes it gets stuck in there. So I'm punching it.
The
and finally
files are in the computer.
It worked, man.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.